Welcome to OkState Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, today we have a very special guest. Joining OkState Daily, the head coach for the Oklahoma State baseball team, Josh Holliday. Coach, it was an interesting weekend this year. It's been an interesting year to this point. So just kind of give us the state of the union for OSU baseball to this point.
Well, coming off last week, trip to Cincinnati in the game with DBU. We played a really good midweek game. Dallas Baptist, one of the better teams we've seen all year, and we put a nice ball game together. We swung the bat well. Hunter gave us a good start. We had good relief pitching and put together really an outstanding all-around game. And then the trip to Cincinnati, our first adventure to Cincinnati for Big 12 play, and got bit by the rain bug on Friday night. Got 2 innings into that first game before the rain shut us down. And then had to come back on Saturday, the resumption game. Went with Mario on top of Harrison since Harrison was not available. Mario kept us in the game. We really did not muster much offense at all. And then in game 2, quick recovery, same thing. Sat there in a little bit of an offensive rut. Had a chance in the 8th inning to tie that ball game up. Did a good job out of the bullpen of keeping us in the game to that point. Got within striking distance, but didn't close the gap. And then Sunday was a must-win game for us, and the guys responded. So 2-2 week, once again, a good challenging week for us. The guys hung in there, didn't quite get where we wanted to be, which would have been a road victory for the series. But, coming back, anxious to get here and get back on the field. The O. Roberts game got washed out on Tuesday, so it's just been a tough rhythm week from the standpoint of travel and weather, but the kids are excited to get back home and play on Friday night against Central Florida.
Still a couple of games under 500 overall, still 4 games under 500 in the Big 12. So just kind of for the fans out there, what is there to look forward to for the remainder of the regular season for this club?
Well, it just starts Friday night. Yeah. I mean, that's all there is to it. You play them one game at a time. You don't get beyond yourself. That's not any kind of good strategy. Play them one at a time. Friday night, baseball here at O'Brate Stadium, Cowboys against Central Florida. That's what you look forward to. And then Saturday, Sunday. So a big home weekend for us. Take them one game at a time, one weekend at a time.
Do you think about, hey, NCAA tournament, do you think that way, or do you just simply think, hey, let's just win Friday? Do you literally take it one day at a time, or do you look big picture? Sometimes?
One day at a time. I'm not real sure what good it does to worry about something that's beyond your control. What you can control is Friday.
Sure.
And preparing for Friday and playing great on Friday. If you do that, then you can do the same Saturday. That's how great teams get to the end of the road anyway. You can tie yourself up in knots worrying about a bunch of things that, quite honestly, get in the way of being present and playing well. Now, if you stay in the moment, play well, you might create an opportunity where you get a chance to capture those goals. But, I don't really see the point in that. Every great team I've ever been on has lived one day at a time, and it wouldn't matter if you were pressing in the situation that we may be in or you're running way out in front. The teams that are out in front right now, if they start worrying about the NCAA tournament, they'll get whacked the next 3 weekends. Yeah. So that's just the nature of the game. Teaches you all kinds of lessons. Season like this would teach us a tremendous amount about learning to stay present, because that is the key, and yet there's 1,000 reasons why people would ask you not to be. So the kids have been great. We know where we're at. We're enjoying each day together. We're looking forward to playing well this weekend and just doing that one day at a time. If we do that, we're dangerous.
Talk about great. It was great to see Gabe Davis back on the bump. He looked like he was throwing the ball with confidence. I know he gave up a run, but he did look like he had a lot of confidence on the bump.
Well, we want desperately to get Gabe back involved in a positive way. It's been a tough year, a little bit of the ups and downs of just some early season. I thought he threw the ball well. He got a little bit of shoulder stiffness. We let him work his way back through that. Obviously a weapon and key piece to the roster, but hopefully he's available again this weekend, and what would be another great opportunity to get him positively involved. He's obviously, you look back at some of the dominant outings he had last year down the stretch. I think by the end of last season, he'd worked his way into one of the top guys in the country, and did the same thing through the summer with Team USA. 2 things in play for him: just getting back on a health level day to day, and then obviously once you're healthy, regaining kind of the skill and capturing that form of the precision that goes along with having a great arm. So I agree with you. That's a positive. So, I think for us, every time one of our guys comes back into the fold, it's a pick-me-up. Avery being able to practice now and possibly return in some capacity, huge pick-me-up for our team and a huge pick-me-up for the kid. We're taking all those additions of guys coming back to us as very positive things, and the joy of seeing the kids get back involved in the game is such an awesome feeling because they both have been working really hard in their rehab, and unfortunately the rehab process on certain injuries takes time. And the college season goes by so quickly
it does.
That we just don't have as much time. On a pro level, those injuries can kind of, slide by and guy gets back and still has a nice chunk of the season because the season is so long. Our season being such a race to the finish line. So good to get those guys back. It's good to have them active again. Whatever roles we can insert them into, it only makes us stronger.
Yeah, 100%. So this team, as of late, if you just need any indication as to where they're at mentally, they played some of their best baseball at times in the last week. I mean, you talk about the Dallas Baptist game, the Sunday game, of course, that's sandwiched with Saturday. So is that a situation to where you go, hey, guys, that's it right there. You've seen the model. Let's just figure out a way to do this every day. Is that how you approach that?
Well, I think what you're speaking to has been our biggest challenge. That's the consistency of being at the top of our game. We've been able to do that. We've had some extremely well-pitched games, and behind that, played some complete games together.
Yeah.
And we've had some games, too, where the balance, people talk about it in football, where the offense and defense are playing in unison, the complementary side of, the harmony of the team. What we haven't done enough of is have that good harmony for long periods of time, the good stretches where the offense gets on a roll and really plays exceptionally well over, a 2 or 3 week period, or those roles where, game after game after game, there's complementary baseball where if we need to win 8-7, we win 8-7. If we need to win 3-2, we win 3-2. We've played really good in spurts and in moments. We have not played necessarily like that over a long stretch. That's been the goal, is to try to find that rhythm and get into one of those runs where we can play really good baseball over the next 3 weeks. That's the focus of what we're doing with the kids. They know they can do it. We've done it at times. Finding a way to do that day after day after day over the course of the remainder of the schedule and try to make a run late, which we've done before. So, the focus has always been on the development and the competition day to day. When you're in it and it's going well, it's easy to stay in it.
Sure.
If it's not going to plan, the first reaction is to abandon it. But if you abandon a sound plan and revert to something else, you may not be doing yourself a favor. So continuing to grind through it, make those gains, keep learning, keep pushing forward, doing all the things that we know are the formulas to success.
This is a program that offensively, for several years now, has been at the top of the conference in home runs. It's been at the top of the conference in runs scored, batting average, walks drawn. This year, the batting average is down a little bit. The runs scored are down a touch. So just kind of give us an assessment of the offense this year.
Well, assessment of the offense for the whole year, I think we have a lot of kids that are learning on the fly. And some of them have learned quickly, and some of them continue to gain valuable experience that's only going to allow them to excel down the road. In the short term, you'll have we've had some games, and you'll have some days where there's some gaps there. And growing through those gaps and finding ways to create offense with some first-time players, some newcomers, offsetting some guys that I think factored in a big way to run production. Okay. It's been an adjustment period for us, but the kids continue to work their tails off. We've had some good offensive outbursts. What we have not had, however, has just been some offensive consistency. Right. You could point to a number of things, but good offense is built with on-base percentage. It's built with lots of contact.
Yes.
Those are elements that at times we've been short. Good offense has also been built, I would say, for us, and maybe too much so, reliance on extra base hits or home runs. It has not been a favorable weather season for home runs. But I think both in the short term and long term, a desire to have a more balanced offense is something that we're working towards, where maybe the ability to run the bases with a little bit more consistency and foot speed is something that can neutralize really good pitching. It can also neutralize the elements. So I think trying to be more complete is something we're working at daily. not being as reliant upon home runs as a lone way to create offense, because there's some days where the home run doesn't show up. But I do think some guys have made good strides.
Yeah.
Is it visible in the stat sheet? Probably not. There's probably some things on the stat sheet that if you took a deep dive are they're ugly. They're not what you want. But the process of learning and adjusting to this level for a lot of young hitters is a real adjustment. We've seen some excellent pitching and some pitch patterns that if you're 18 or 19 in your first year of Division I baseball, I don't care if you are an experienced junior college player, it is an adjustment. So our kids are learning, and there's been some growing pains. I would say growing pains are a real feeling. They're a feeling for the players, and certainly they're a feeling for the coaches. So. But to handicap the offense overall for the season, definitely not where we want to be, but aware of what we need to get better at and aware of, I think, adjustments that we'd like to make moving forward to be more complete and dynamic.
Yeah. So you mentioned a lot of the young kids. You mentioned some of the JUCO guys. And just kind of looking at your roster, you got guys from all the way from Hawaii to the Bronx. Then you got JUCO guys. You've got transfers from smaller schools. You got transfers from big schools. You got true freshmen playing on both sides of the ball, right? So has this been probably the most challenging year you've had? Great kids, obviously, very talented, but has it been the most challenging year you've had with the weather, just not being able to get in a consistent schedule of meshing everything together?
Well, I mean, obviously, every season's a challenge. And it depends on what level or where you're at on the scale of what you're chasing.
Yeah, right.
When you have, last year's team was a wonderful example of what a great challenge the season was, and what we were pursuing and chasing with that group was very challenging. This season's been a great challenge with this team and what we're in pursuit of with this group, growing towards things. It's very simply put, if it's just, is the challenge based on the one-loss record? Does it feel more challenging to not win as much?
Yeah.
Or is it the process of growing with the group as they grow towards their potential? Sure, yeah, lots of good, young, talented kids learning things, but learning in the heat of competition and having to deal with results. Yes, that is a challenge too. I don't know, Casey. I think in reality, to stay constantly in the 22 and a half, 23-year-old age club where everyone is seasoned and veteran and experienced is maybe a place certain teams get to, but there's always going to be a reset or restart if the entirety of the team is at that age. This is a little bit of a transition year in terms of the age gap between half the roster and the other half of the roster. I was comfortable that we could bridge that age gap and be very competitive. And so I think there's a transition across any roster, or at this point in the college scheme, where if you're highly reliant on older players to constantly fill the turnover, then your roster will be vacant of younger players. And if you become too heavily reliant on younger players, your roster might be shy of experience.
Yeah.
I think what you're pursuing at all times is a really quality team that's got a balance of those two. So that was our pursuit, was a balanced roster of good veteran players, some transfers, but also a very good nucleus of young players with the hopes that could start to build that foundation for years to come. Somewhere in the middle there's a sweet spot.
Yeah. We are middle of the pack. Let's talk about the pitching. We are middle of the pack in the ERA. We've walked the fourth fewest in the league, and when you look at the turnover, just off of last year's staff, first of all. Then you lose your two top pitching recruits. Then you have injuries to guys like Ethan Lund and then Gabe Davis and situations like that. No excuses whatsoever. But with all the circumstances that have been presented to this club, you got to be impressed with what the pitching has been able to do this year for you guys, right?
We've put some good games together. We really have. And Harrison has definitely been the leader in that category. Sean has been a real strong force, whether it was out of the bullpen early when we were, trying to get to him 2 or 3 times a week to save games and win games. Mario has been a steady contributor and a tough-minded competitor. Hunter has been solid and given us multiple quality outings. Early in the year, I thought Drew was in a great spot. I think he's getting ready to have a great final stretch here down this last month. Some of the younger kids have shown at times real promise. The consistency piece at times for those guys has been a challenge. But we've put together some really well-pitched games, and some games we haven't been able to do that. So you don't get too tied up, at least in my perspective, on the stat sheet,
Sure.
because there's going to be some games and some moments and some times where you're going to have to let some guys grow.
Yeah.
You're going to have to let a guy go out there and figure it out, right? Because you can't pitch the same guys every single time. And so we've had a few midweek games where we've had to grow with some guys, and that's part of this. I do feel like we're capable of putting some really well-pitched games together. Just like we've put some good offensive games together. It's just been a matter of doing it 4 or 5 times a week and consistently over a period of time. So I think on any given day, I think Harrison can go out there and we can beat anybody. And I think Sean has put some games together where you would say the same thing about him. And I think Mario has been a really good competitive swingman, whether it was out of the pen early or now starting games. Same for Hunter. And there's other guys emerging. There's other guys gaining ground. And we're working hard at it. Guys are stepping forward. Brendan Phillips has pitched his best baseball. Some of the younger kids like Weck and others, I think, are showing great strides. And you mentioned, Ethan was a kid. Ethan Lund was a kid that I would have told you coming out of the fall had a chance to be a freshman All-American type starter. He had that look to him, and obviously Gabe. So those guys were a big part of the inning arrangement. We've had to shuffle the deck a few times since.
Yeah. So last question for me, UCF is one of those enigmas. I mean, you look at their roster and it's like they're one of the best offensive teams. They're one of the best pitching teams. Then you look, they're not winning a whole lot of games. So very scary team, very talented team coming in.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't peeled the stat sheet back yet, but I'll spend the next, 36 hours getting ready. I thought they had a really good team last year. I had a lot of respect for them on the field. I liked the way they played. I thought they had good pitching. I thought their coaches did a good job. It's a talented roster. The state of Florida has a lot of good ball players, and they've done a nice job of collecting players that had ability. I thought they had a lot of ability. All the series have been great challenges. You get to a point as a coach where you're going to face somebody that's going to come at you with really good stuff, and you're going to have to play well. And so your focus just becomes getting the Cowboys ready to play well. We had a great practice today. We'll have a great one tomorrow. But yeah, I think the biggest thing, and I know you do a great job of helping get the message to people about what's really going on with the team. The team is fighting its tail off and competing their hearts out. They're not backing down from anything. They're not retreating. They're not feeling sorry for themselves, not making excuses. Just keep supporting them and believing in them. There's been some really good baseball. Come out and be a part of witnessing the good baseball. And like we talked about at all times, the greatest investment we can make is showing the players constantly that we care and believe in what they're doing. They feel that, and they rise to the occasion. So you just got to keep working hard. Seasons are called seasons because you have to start them, stay with them, and you have to finish them. And you don't get to check out if you don't like the way they're going. You finish what you start, and you give yourself a chance until the very end, and you play your tail off. And who knows, sometimes magical things happen when people stay with something. Especially in a day and age when it's easy just to kind of check out if things don't go to plan. So that's not going on. We're pushing hard, working hard. We get some great players that we continue to celebrate and passionately enjoy coaching. And I hope you continue to passionately enjoy supporting them.